Are you looking to sell your house this year, sometime soon? Well, let me tell you a story about how I sold this house and what we could do for you if it's time to sell your house. Hi, I'm Paul Blair, real estate agent and broker owner of Gray Square, local to DFW. So I'm just going to share with you a story on how we sold this house and what we did to get it sold and how we helped the seller and the buyer come together in agreement. Originally, this seller called me about 5 months, maybe 5.5 months before we closed. I met with the seller. He invited me over to his house. We met, we talked. We went over all of the things the house may need to change in order to sell it. As you can see, it's white and black cabinets. It was not this way when we met. We had a lot of conversations of what we should do to make the house ready to sell. Again, this was 5.5 months ago. After the meeting, we decided we would take a month and a half to get the house cleaned up. The seller was gonna move and get everything ready. So we got the house all ready, and at that time, I was handed over the keys to an empty house, which is really convenient for me to sell an empty house. It's a little easier selling an empty house or a staged house than it is a house where you're living in it, where buyers have to see your stuff instead of thinking about what their stuff looks like in the room. Now, staged is always better, but empty is always pretty good too. So again, back up a spot. In that initial meeting and during that month and a half of getting the house ready, we've come up with a valuation which we think is correct. I give my ideas and I work with you to kind of team up to make sure that that number works for you and potentially is going to work for a buyer, and that market value will bring us together. So now we're here back at the empty house. We have our price point, and what we do as my team, we're going to come in, we're going to take quality photos of the whole property, aerial photos, quality videos from the aerial, from inside the house, walking around the house, me telling you about the house. We're gonna put videos on YouTube and put pictures on all over the web. So once we had that collateral ready, the pictures, the video and everything, we're gonna pump it out to the market. The market is really the MLS and all the websites that you will find properties on, whether it's agents, brokers, companies, Zillows, Redfins, the MLS, it's everywhere. We make sure it gets on there with the correct information, with the correct links, all going back to this property. Now back to this property, we got it on the market, we got it out there. Again, I said it was late fall. It was late fall. I mean, we were closing in on Thanksgiving. Now, if you don't recall, late 2023, around that time of year, the interest rates were just going up and up and up. And at that point, about 3 weeks in, we've had some open houses. We've had a bunch of people looking at the house. It's been almost there with some offers, and the rates got to like 8.5%. So with interest rates at 8.5%, it's hard. Buyers just checked out. They're like, I'm out. I'm not gonna buy this year. Let's see what happens next year. This is late fall. This is almost Thanksgiving. When they check out around there, buyers leave and they come back in January, February in Texas. Here in the north, probably June. So I had to sit down with the seller and we had a conversation. What should we do? Should we keep lowering the price? Should we lower the price and just instigate and try to get someone to take the house because we've just given it away? Or another option, which I like to do in the late fall situation, is just if we can, let's pull it off the market. Just stop the marketing. We're still available. But we'll pull it off. We'll do showings if someone calls. But what we're gonna do is regroup after the new year. And so that's what we did here. We put this house back on the market the second week of January, and boom, people were showing up to the open houses. Private showings were called, people were coming in. And about 2 weeks later, we got an offer. Pretty good offer, pretty clean offer from a really good agent that I know, and a buyer that was very interested in the property. The seller was happy, they thought the number was okay. We had a little negotiation, and off to the races we went, executed contract. Now we got the executed contract, inspections came in, house was pretty good, they asked for a few little adjustments. We made a couple adjustments there and ready to go. So now the buyer's just finalizing their loan and the seller's already moved out, so the seller's happy and just waiting to sell the house. So that's the story on how we sold this house. Every sale's a little different. If you're trying to sell your house, obviously let me know, give me a call, let me come assess your home, give you my thoughts on value and what we would do and how we could do it. Every house has a different timeline on how it gets sold. A very unique house might be very hard. If you price it too high or too low, it can affect when and how it sells. The time of year can be a factor. We just had a problem here in late fall, but we didn't have the problem in early spring or winter here in Texas. So all these factors come into play when you go to sell your house. So know that when you call me, a professional, I've been doing this 20 years, we're gonna go over all those factors and make a game plan. It might be 5 months away, it might be next year. We can always kind of keep a track of how and when best to do what it is right for you to sell that property, best for you, best for your family, best to get the most when the buyer will pay the most. These things matter. I hope you like my little story here. Please like and follow me for more stories and properties around the area. If you want to see the real property tour video, I'll put it here at the end, and you can click on that and see the actual just walkthrough of this house without me talking about the story. But I appreciate your time. Please like and follow. All the links are below. You can find me in the links below, like I said, but also shoot me a comment. What did you think about this house? What do you think about the story? Did it make sense to you? Do you have any questions? See you next one.